Singapore's first assembly plant for electric vehicles has opened right in the heart of Jurong's Innovation District. Operated by Hyundai Motor Group, Deputy Prime Minister Lawrence Wong says that the new innovation centre will enable Singapore to play a role in developing vehicles of the future. Now, that says the centre features smart technology such as 5G, artificial intelligence and robotics. Claudia Lim with more.
At Hyundai's smart assembly line, robo-dogs are responsible for inspecting cars. They take pictures at every angle and use AI to find defects. These robotic arms, unlike those in regular manufacturing plants, can be configured to do a range of different functions, like adding on bumpers or fitting windscreens. Features like these ensure consistency and reduce reliance on manual labor. There are about 200 robots that line this floor, and they help to carry out about 50% of all tasks. Each robot is equipped with 5G technology, which will pass on information to the command center. There, a team will monitor and take preventive measures to ensure that all operations go smoothly. Smart technology also enables this assembly plant to do something traditional ones cannot: create personalized vehicles. Using what it calls cell-based production, customizations can be grouped together at workstations. It creates a system that is far removed from conveyor belt assembly.
We are developing a flexible manufacturing system for any type of mobility devices. So the personalization can really be tailored. If we are talking about, for instance, disabled or lower mobility people, the car can be completely arranged to fit his or her needs.
Hyundai says it chose Singapore as the base for its first smart urban mobility hub because it's already home to many smart factories and has a qualified workforce. Deputy Prime Minister Lawrence Wong says he hopes such partnerships will pave way for more companies to use Singapore as a base for Southeast Asia, even in the face of global competition to attract investments.
We are always mindful of our limits and we are very realistic. Singapore is just a small, tiny country. But at the same time, we know that we have many things going for us. We are competitive, we are reliable, we are trusted, and we are continuing to see a healthy pipeline of investments, capital, and talent here in Singapore.
So far, the South Korean firm has assembled around 300 Ioniq 5 electric cars for the Singapore market and will produce 30 driverless cars called robotaxis this year for the US market. With potential to produce up to 30,000 electric cars annually, it hopes to also expand export to nearby regional markets.
The company also signed 3 agreements with Singapore partners. The first will see an innovation lab created jointly with Nanyang Technological University and Research Centre A-Star. The second agreement will enable local SMEs to co-develop advanced manufacturing solutions. The last agreement will see Hyundai and PTC Logistics set up a renewable hydrogen energy ecosystem. And 2 guests join us now for more on this. Mr. Alpesh Patel, who leads the Smart Factory Technology Innovation Group at Hyundai. He joins us in the studio.
And also joining us on Zoom from the Philippines is Professor Marcelo Ang. He's Director of the Advanced Robotics Centre, that's at NUS. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. It's good to see both of you.
Thank you.
Mr. Pell, let's begin with you first.
Thank you.
And talk us through this. It's a car that's fully assembled by robots, and it can also take into account an individual's personal requirements. How is that kind of customization possible in this Hyundai assembly line?
Sure. I think as you pointed out, this is really about making the future of mobility a reality. And as we say, the future of mobility needs to be personalized. We envision that different mobility solutions will be needed by different individuals. And this is not luxury car manufacturing, it's for the masses. So we need to be able to mass customize the cars. In that context, it's very important that we harness the automation technology, AI, industrial metaverse, and IoT, amongst others. So to your question, how do we manage to make the robots able to do this type of personalization is really by making them more intelligent. So embedding artificial intelligence, vision, and being able to simulate the actual movements in advance and being able to say, okay, for a particular configuration, this is how the robot will need to act. For another configuration, this is maybe a different pathway or a different scenario. So the convergence of all of those technologies, both in a robot, in a cell, as well as in the brain of the factory, is what makes this possible.
Oh, Professor Ang, you heard Mr. Patel outline this convergence. In the field of robotics, how advanced is what Mr. Patel is talking about?
It's very advanced because we're starting to see robots being used in unstructured environments, not in a traditional factory floor, where two important capabilities are mobility and manipulation, right? To be able to move parts, like moving the whole car body, work cell to work cell, and to have certain accuracy and to tolerate inaccuracy through advanced sensing, right? Mobility is very interesting because of the history. Let me share with you, mobility started with self-driving vehicles through funding from the Singapore MIT Alliance for Research and Technology. We have a startup called Newtonomy, which was subsequently acquired by Aptiv, which focuses on the software to achieve mobility of mobile robots or vehicles in public roads or inside factory floors. And it was recently joint ventured with Hyundai to create a company called Motional. And being a car maker, Hyundai, they have built a really advanced autonomous vehicle already. The body they've built and the software is provided by Aptiv and Newtonomy. So that's an example of doing a real research with some target for robot taxis or vehicles that's not only applicable to public roads, but also inside factory floors, like what's being shown in the factory in Hyundai in Jurong.
Mr. Patel, Professor Ang referenced the idea of human mobility, and Hyundai does want to be very much part of shaping the future of what that might look like. Can you give us some examples of future mobility that you envision, and why Singapore perhaps is a good test bed for all of this experimentation?
Absolutely. I think we stand at Hyundai for progress for humanity, and that really is about making the future of mobility a reality. What does that look like? Well, it's for sure electrification, it's for sure autonomous vehicles, and it is for sure personalization. So what does personalization mean? Well, for an individual, we can already see it around, but that's mainly for the happy few that can do some, well, paint or whatever interior personalization. But if you bring this to actually mass consumption, this can be for groups of individuals and make an autonomous vehicle be an extension either of your home, as you're moving from point A to B and want to continue reading your journal or do your daily task, an extension of work, or any other type of activities. So what we're seeing for the future of mobility is those forms of purpose-built vehicles for what I would call personas that are individuals or groups of individuals on a specific journey. And that is compatible both with individual ownership, B2B, i.e. corporate ownership or public transportation, and also car sharing, which are all very big trends. So that's what we mean by future of mobility. And that, again, requires really a different approach to manufacturing, because we're no longer about mass producing the same type of cars. But any unit that we produce can be different from the other.
Right.
Well, Professor Ang, we heard Mr. Patel there. Earlier, we were talking about the opening of this plant. Our Deputy Prime Minister Lawrence Wong saying he hopes this will pave the way for more companies to use Singapore as a base for Southeast Asia, for this kind of personalized, flexible manufacturing that Mr. Patel is talking about. Is Singapore actually equipped to go big scale on this?
Oh, definitely so. We have many new technologies that's being applied. We have an excellent manpower, which is the most important ingredient for any successful undertaking. And we have full government support. And Singapore is quite interesting because I think people are very pro-technology and how to use the latest technology to make life better, right? As a matter of fact, if you look at some statistics, Singapore is rated the first or second AV-ready country in the world. And for the Smart City Index, it's also 7th in the world, right? And the first in the world in 2020, I do not know the latest figures, but certainly technology, policy, and society were ready to take advantage of technology for the betterment of the quality of life, first to demonstrate in Singapore and to the world.
A quick final question for you, Mr. Patel. Hyundai is making this an incubator of talent. Can you explain to us what that means?
Yes, I think the first element, echoing what Professor highlighted, Singapore, we're very thankful, first, of the support that we've received in Singapore, and we also believe that this is the right place for us to create this incubator for many different reasons, and one of which is the availability of talent. There are already a few smart manufacturing smart factories here in Singapore, so the workforce is already quite savvy, and then this is really a technology-friendly place with multiple talents coming out of the universities in various disciplines, artificial intelligence, and you can break that down into many sub-disciplines. They all come from NUS, NTU, so there's a lot of talent. Same for automation and even more. So what do we see for the future here is we are converging these talents in HMGICs. We are making them interact in a cross-disciplinary way and actually are creating a new breed of talent which is not only specialized in one discipline, but now can work together to create those future mobility devices.
Exciting opportunities.
Thanks, gentlemen, for that ride into the future. Alpesh Patel, Vice President and Head of Technology Innovation Group at Hyundai Motor Group Innovation Centre in Singapore, and Professor Marcello Ang, Director of the Advanced Robotics Centre at NUS.